What is going on, everybody? I am back today to talk about my most recent theater going experience. And it's a theater going experience that I have been very excited for, and for good reason. This is a concert film of a performance from the most recent tour of the band Ghost. And if you're not familiar with Ghost, I'm going to talk a little bit about them today, give you a little bit of background about the band. But my whole family loves Ghost, and we love sharing in their music, and we just have so much fun listening to their music, going to their concerts, and they are just one of the most impressive groups that I've ever seen in concert. The amount of time, effort, and energy that goes into not only their clothing and their appearance and the talent of the instrumentation, the stage design, the lore that has been created surrounding the band. There's just so much to immerse yourself into. And the other amazing part about Ghost is the sense of community in their fan base. And when this movie was announced, I was very excited because not only was it posed as a concert film, but Tobias Forge, the head of Ghost, said there was going to be some fun little skits throughout, and that it was going to add to the lore of the band. I was really excited to go experience this in theaters, and I can't wait to tell you about Right Here, Right Now today. Right Here, Right Now is directed by Tobias Forge and Alex Ross Perry. Whether you're a devoted disciple looking to relive treasured memories of the Ghost live spectacle, or among the curious uninitiated, Right Here, Right Now will put you right there, putting your phones down and living in the moment as a shadow of uncertainty looms, completely spellbound and in the thrall of this bombastic yet intimate cinematic portrait of Ghost. So I was very excited to watch this because I am a huge fan of the band, and this was an amazing experience. It was a wonderful concert film that I think encapsulates everything that makes Ghost so special. And I was curious as to how they were going to incorporate the little skits throughout, and it flows very seamlessly. And it's a very easy experience to get into because when you're watching the film, obviously it's the concert playing out just like any traditional concert, but then there's little cutaways up from the band where they'll go backstage and have conversations with characters, and that's what made the movie so much fun to watch. And if you're unfamiliar with Ghost completely, Ghost is a rock and roll band led up by Tobias Forge, who Tobias plays this character called Papa Emeritus, and Papa Emeritus has gone through multiple iterations since the creation of the band, whether that be one version of the Papa has left or has been killed off by the clergy or whatever it might be. And they work for this large entity that is known as the clergy. And they do this web series on their YouTube channel that kind of gives you insight as to how the church works and the power dynamics. And it's hilarious. They take certain elements of it seriously, but it's really just them having a ton of fun. And it's really fantastic. And if you've looked online, Tobias writes all the music. He does all the instrumentation for the records, and he has these nameless ghouls that go on tour with him, and his band is incredibly talented. They all wear masks, and through every iteration of the band, they've switched their masks and changed their appearance, and it's just really incredible to see how they've evolved as a band over time. And if you've never listened to the music of Ghost before, obviously for copyright reasons, I can't really play any of their music throughout this video, but it has a very unique sound. A lot of it feels like it could come straight out of the era of the 70s or 80s. There's a lot of heavy metal influence in it. Tobias was in an actual death metal band before he was involved in Ghost, and so you can feel elements of that. But it's one of those things where all their merchandise, you can see the shirt I'm wearing from their most recent tour, it's very spooky and creepy looking, and it gives people oh man, that's got to be the most hardcore satanic band imaginable. And then you listen to it, and lyrically there's elements of that, but mostly it's just very fun, engaging rock and roll music that has amazing instrumentation and really incredible lyrics. And that's what I love a lot about the band. And so, giving you a little bit of a backstory, if you know nothing about the band at all, some of the stuff about the power dynamics and his family members and those things that are introduced, you might be unfamiliar with, but it's really easy to just kind of grab a hold onto and enjoy the experience. And when you're grading a concert film, it all comes down to the music, which which Ghost, as I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to be 34 years old this year. I've been to thousands of concerts in my life. I go to probably 30 to 40 concerts a year, and Ghost is one of the best live shows I've ever been to in my entire life. The spectacle of their performance. Tobias is just such an entertainer. He does such an amazing job at holding the crowd's attention and really making you laugh and keeping you engaged and getting people to enjoy and experience the music. And that's what I love so much about him as a creator and as a musician. And I think that this whole lore of this band and everything that he has done has made for something unlike anything I've really ever seen before with any type of musical group. And there's a lot of their music that is inspired by like the Satanic Panic era of the 70s. And if you read interviews with Tobias, it's really interesting as to why he's gone this route. But it's really funny to me because like when you think about the Satanic Panic era, or even like the Church of Satan, or people that say they practice Satanism, Christianity and right-wing people always assume that they're like worshiping this evil deity or like trying to summon this like ridiculous plague on the planet, and that they just hate everyone. But the embodiment of the Church of Satan, which I have a little bit of exposure reading about online, it seems to be very empathetic and compassionate and wanting people to just like live their lives and be left alone. There's a lot about like being at one with nature and caring for animals, and it seems to be a lot of love throughout. And so I think what Tobias is doing is kind of like embracing that idea of like the rejection of traditional religion and like religious ideals, but like playing it off in a funny way where like the lyrics about like there's lyrics about worshiping Satan and praising Satan in the music, and there's this comical like playful element to it, and it's really fun to just witness on stage, especially like some of the songs that are much more straightforward, like that feel like worship songs to Satan, like Year Zero. They're performed in a way that he comes out and he'll have like incense burning and come out in a very traditional like Pope looking outfit, but then like the musicians will kind of like play around and goof off, and he like smacks them and tells them to be more serious. And then there's songs that are obviously much more goof off and funny. There's a lot of really beautiful lyrics that Tobias has written too. On his most recent album, the song Spillways is one of my favorites, which is very much about like looking at everything that you've experienced in your life and everything that you've overcome and trying to just push through and get to the other side when things become incredibly difficult. And a lot of Ghost's music is about persevering through the difficult times in your life. And there were a couple of really beautiful moments in this movie where Tobias was speaking to the crowd as Papa and essentially talking about how everyone goes through things in their lives, and that there's ebbs and flows, and that there's issues that people experience, but being able to find moments that you can grab a hold onto and enjoy life and enjoy living in that moment is so incredibly important. And that's not going to erase the difficult experiences that you will have in your life, but that being able to embrace those moments of joy is so incredibly important. And that's what I love so much about Ghost's music. And you can tell throughout their fan base just the way people paint their faces and they dress up, and everyone has Ghost merchandise on. And there's just this amazing sense of community of people who, you know, come from all different backgrounds. And I'm sure a lot of people that feel like they just don't belong in any specific group, when they come together for a Ghost concert, they feel like that there's this sense of community and belonging. And I love that so much about their music. And that's really encapsulated in this film very well. There are a lot of amazing moments of shots on fans just crying through songs and hugging and embracing and living in that moment, and really showcasing the amazing artistry of the group while also showcasing the love and the dedication that the fan base has. And all the cutaway sequences, there are some amazing comedic bits in here. Tobias is clearly very influenced through horror films. There's a lot of homage to different horror movies throughout the film, which I thought was really cool. There's an amazing animated sequence in the film that kind of came out of nowhere that I really appreciated a lot. And there was a scene after the credits that was just kind of like, it just was like the cherry on top, hilarious. The reaction of everyone in the crowd was just fantastic. And yeah, it was just a really incredible experience experience of showcasing this amazing group that has existed for several years now, that has been putting amazing music into the world, and kind of what they represent, because I think it's really easy to like see a shirt like this on someone and make a really quick passing judgment as to who they are, and like, oh, they must love evil and embrace all this and blah blah blah. But like the message of Ghost and the reason why they exist, there's such this like beautiful core to it. And I hope that if people aren't aware of Ghost, that if they watch this movie or talk to someone about it, that they can see what's so special about it. And I think Ghost's music is really easy for anyone to get into. They have music of all different genres throughout their entire catalog, and I think there's songs for everyone in their catalog. And I just would recommend, if you've never experienced any of their music before, go listen to a couple songs. They are just so amazingly talented. And this is now showing, I think, for 4 days. I know a lot of the screenings really limited seats because these were hot commodity items. The theater I was in last night when I watched the movie was completely and totally packed, and I actually have tickets to see this again today when this video is being released. I'm seeing it a second time because I loved it so much, and I really hope that you get to go and experience it and enjoy it as much as I did. So have you seen Right Here Right Now? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. I thought this was an incredible experience that really showcases everything that makes the band Ghost very special. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.